more rumors are circulating about where Harden will land. So this is where I guess the James Harden sweepstakes continues. So the Clippers have been mentioned along with the Knicks and even the Suns. But for the most part, they appear to be a package of players instead of a star swap. But interestingly enough, before we came on tonight, Jake Fisher of Yahoo Sports indicated that the Sixers are working on trades outside of the LA area. And he mentioned Chicago as a possible trade partner, with Philly acquiring Zach LaVine and or DeMar DeRozan.
He worded that really oddly when he said that.
Yeah. It's like
I don't know if it was and or the one or the other. I don't know what that was.
I think, people online, if it is both, it would be a Tobias involved in that trade.
Would have to be.
Earlier, Kevin O'Connor proposed a package of Terrence Mann, Norman Powell, Nicholas Batum, Robert Covington, and 2 first-round picks for James Harden and PJ Tucker. But most Philly fans are holding out for Paul George, of course.
Naturally.
So my question to you guys is, if a Clippers deal does go down, do you think it'll be for a star or a package, including picks? Obviously, would you guys be disappointed if it's not Paul George and is the package of players that Kevin O'Connor alluded to? And then as far as the Chicago trade, what do you guys think about those potential rumors of those going around? It's coming down to, would you rather have a plethora of players to surround Maxey and Embiid, or a star, either Paul George or Zach LaVine, to pair with those guys?
I only can see them doing a package if it gives them the cap flexibility that we talked about. The package doesn't necessarily give you what, let me see, the enthusiasm and excitement going into the season.
It does not.
It doesn't give you that.
It gives flexibility, though. I think Batum's got 1 year left, and I think Covington's got 1 year left.
Yeah, so from that standpoint, to give you that, it doesn't necessarily.
And
I think that you can, depending on what happens with Tobias, you could probably make that work. You give yourself some depth, and you got Joel, and Joel had to stay healthy, and you can work around him. We've seen teams like Miami, you know what I'm saying, prosper like that.
True.
To the certain point, Denver did, with Murray and Jokic. So that's possible. I think if you want to make a splash, obviously Paul George would probably, out of the names mentioned, would be the bigger splash.
Yeah.
But then you're bringing in a more injury-prone guy than probably Joel.
And the same age as Harden, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't see the Clippers doing that. LaVine is interesting. I like it. I like it.
So do I.
I would, if I had to pick between the three, I would like to see how that package would look. With LaVine. I don't know if the LaVine and DeRozan package and all of, I don't know. I don't think that with Maxey and James necessarily work.
Yeah, it'd be a little harder, I think.
But just the one, yeah. I like that. He's young, he scored a ball, and get number 2 or 3 option.
Yep. Can catch and shoot, can handle it. Got a little size to him. He's not that small.
I like that.
Yeah, the Clippers is not sexy at all, but it's got the deal has at least got a youngish player entering his prime, and Terrence Mann, who's been pretty good from 3, actually. I think he's like 39%.
You just like you never like if these deals work, and we could get LaVine in the package the Clippers saying can go to Chicago.
Exactly. That's what I like about the 2 first rounders that O'Connor proposed. It's that can just be shipped somewhere else, right? In a 3-team deal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the 2 first rounders is what a lot of teams are looking for a really, really good player on with a couple more years left in their deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, if we could pull off a 3-team deal and somehow keep like Terrence Mann, ship off the 2 first rounders, maybe the expiring contracts, and get LaVine, I would be ecstatic with that, considering people were scared about Harden leaving for nothing 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
You weren't. You always stuck to the no matter what, we're gonna trade him if nothing else.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were very scared. They're getting on the edge about what's going to happen. We're just going to walk. We're going to get nothing. We're going to be worse next year. That $35 million will go to waste. So if we ended up with Terrence Mann and Levine, I'd be really happy with that. Yeah, it's tough though because I don't think we're gonna get PG. I think I read that report recently that Wendy said PG is not even on the table. So that's not going to happen. The other questions that people were speculating too is, do you just try to say don't get a star in this trade, get as many assets as possible, and possibly flip those and Maxey for a Lillard? That's the other thing people are speculating on. You just try to get as many assets as possible and get a giant deal for a major superstar to put with Embiid. I don't know.
Sound good.
Yeah,
Sound
of
good.
course.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all it is.
Sure,
right now.
if you can make that happen, I'm sure we'll all be game, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. That's tough. That's I just think you get a good mix of the youngest talent possible, assets, and if you can get even a budding star or an all-star, I think you'd be happy with that. I think if you can get Levine, that would be a very, very good deal for us.
Yeah, a combination of Levine and Mann would be
awesome.
Pretty amazing.
If you told me we're going to lose James but get Terrence Mann and Levine, I'd say how. So, I wouldn't even think it's possible. So, yeah, obviously PG would fit really well, but they're trading for Harden so they could put with PG and Kawhi. So I don't know why they would do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know why they're making that move to then trade one of those guys.
And actually, in doing that and trading them Harden and getting a 2028 and 2030 first round pick, you're kind of ensuring that they're going to have a hard fall off at some point. Paul's 33, I think, and had major injury problems. I think Kawhi just turned
32. Right?
32.
I believe so.
Who's had a lot of injury problems. Harden, we're not paying long term probably because we worry about his long term skills declining. So 28, 30 first round picks, pretty valuable.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
But who knows? Roster turnover in the NBA happens so often.
It's crazy.
Well,
look at us, for instance. We might pretty much go through an entire makeover with the exception of Maxey, and even he's being thrown out there. People are still speculating. Yeah, but Maxey and Embiid and maybe Milton, because a lot of people were throwing in Tucker to these deals, saying we'd love to throw in Tucker to one of those Harden deals to shed $11 more million off our salary cap. So,
well, I think that's also coming with the fact that Tucker only signed to play with Harden in Philadelphia. That was the kind of the reports last year.
That was one of them, yeah.
So,
and $12 million is $12 million, especially with these new cap restrictions.
Yeah.
Do you guys? Just a sidebar question. Who do you think will get traded first between Harden or Tobias? Do you think everything's going to start within our Sixers offseason? Everything has to start with this Harden trade before we can get anything done, or do you think Tobias could be moved before him?
I think.
Good question.
James will go first if they go individually. Because I think the difference is, I don't think Tobias is necessarily seeking one.
No,
that's just Marcus.
Yeah, that's true.
Teja and all his people pushing him out the door, but he hasn't come out and said, "Hey, I want to get traded." His contract has looked exciting, as Teja says, but I think James wants to get it done immediately so he can know where he's going. So I think that him and his agent are pushing for it, which means that they're talking and being aggressive with it.
Yeah.
And I think from Tobias' standpoint, I think I've said it before that I felt that they would kind of wait and see how the landscape is going to go with the first hits of free agency before that deal was made.
And who you can get for Harden now. Now that changes a lot with Tobias.
Yes.
Also, too, look, Harrison Barnes just did his extension. Really fair. What was it?
3 years, $54 million.
You told me Tobias will sign a similar extension, I'd say don't go anywhere. Similar to that, within a 1 or 2 million, I would be fine with him staying this year and signing an extension. That's a great, fantastic deal for Harrison Barnes. I would love that kind of extension for Tobias. Maybe we're keeping that in mind. Who knows? I mean,
that market has been established.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
We'll see.
I think Harden goes first. They're saying, I mean, I've read reports say we'll sit on him like we said on Simmons. Maybe that's just Morey leaking that to scare teams into upping it. But teams with the 125% rule can send out a lot less salary now to get Harden before the deadline. So they're maybe pressuring teams to send out their best offer like today. So we'll see. If it goes by today, I think it could go on a while. If not today, then a while. I think.
When the hamstring,
I just don't see James showing up to camp, and I think he'll show up.
But now there was Ben.
We've seen James when he's disinterested. We've seen how that go.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the fact that it worked with Ben, even though he just didn't even come to practice anymore, and we got a good amount for him in a trade.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think James will not be injured and sit out. We've seen that the personalities are different. James can come there and be friends with the team and still kind of pull the morale down.
Yep, that's true.
For a team, I'm just saying, if you're saying you're trying to win a championship, we can't sit on that.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do both.
Yep. Yeah. We at least got to make it look like we have time, though.
I don't think you can do both.
You got to put out the word out there that we're back up.
Back up.
That's for one of Eric's favorite shows, The Wire.
You're a big Wire fan, Eric?
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And one of
Word
the best
up.
TV shows of all time.
Word up. Back up.